Hey there, neighbors and naysayers. November 6th, 2023. Took a video here last month. It was almost 80 degrees and the boys were playing water trough. Actually, we were in the field beside, but just turned the water trough on. Feeling the light on my phone is showing a whole lot more light out here in the field than there is. But this is the start of darkness and despair in the farming world. I love the meme on Facebook that shows a Native American that says only a white man would think cutting 2 feet off the top of a blanket and sewing it on the bottom would give him a longer blanket. This is the first day of daylight savings time, which means lots of darkness for me. So typically we graze normally for another week after daylight savings time until I come to my senses, and then we change up the way we do things because I realize I don't have enough daylight to get it all done. And that's the way it looks this year. We're going to be, I was just going over this in my head how we're going to do it. I guess if you can see the grass, there's some stockpile here still yet. There's some pretty thin places. It got so dry. I mean, I have never seen our springs run as slow as they are. Thank God they're still running. But it got so dry. It's amazing. You know, you look for cues of okay, it's dry. The news to tell you it's a drought, or no rain ever, and that's a drought. But we've had rain. Just, they say we're going to get a half an inch and we get a tenth of an inch. They say we're going to get a tenth of an inch and we get a trace. Just nothing. It's been that way all summer. Stuff still grows, but it just doesn't grow a bunch. And the weather hasn't been the best either. We've had some really cold nights at 25 degrees here lately, so it's just perfect storm. I knew I was going to run into a year like this, and I did. So I was telling Rachel the other day that you know, we normally would graze this stockpile multiple times. And we'd still have 6, 8, 10 inches when we're done to graze through, and we don't have that now. In fact, I probably should have pulled the cows a week ago. I had planned on bale grazing on this field. I don't know if there's going to be enough stockpile to bale graze on it when we're done. Just the way things go. You just don't. There's nothing you can plan on when it comes to Mother Nature. You know, we know we're going to get sunshine, or at least we hope. We know we'll get rain eventually, but we don't know when. We just have to play the cards, the hand that we've been dealt, and this is the hand we've been dealt. So as we look forward, Dad started cleaning heavy use pad off today. We've got to sort calves, and then we're gonna run calves separate on second crop hay for the winter on bale grazing. I think that's kind of the plan. And then the cows will go to a field and one roll hay until that gets to be a mess, and then we'll move to another field until that one gets to be a mess. So that's kind of where we're at and what we're going to do for the coming winter. Wasn't supposed to be like this. We were supposed to be over at the renting farm. We'll try to get there. You can hear the guard dogs barking. The kids are playing out behind their house over there. Not my kids, the neighbor kids, and so they're talking to the neighbor kids. But I hadn't done a video in a while. I thought I ought to. I guess if I had other things to talk about here tonight, it's been really impressed with the calves here this year. Lenny has come out of his limp a little bit. He's limping. I just noticed tonight he's got a cyst on his foot right above his toe, so he's had an infection in there at some point, and hopefully it comes out of there and he heals up. We'll see how he goes. He is breeding cows, so that's a good thing. But boy, the calves have been just great. I mean, for being dry weather and being the grass, the quality has been great here this fall. Calves look great. Hopefully we can keep that through the winter. If you missed our pasture walk the other day, and maybe it's something I'll do in the winter time when I need a video, but we tested our hay and we did some hay testing talks. Our second crop hay is good enough to put a pound a day on these calves, which is right at about where I want to. I mean, I'd like to be at 2 pound a day, but 1 pound a day through the winter, we'll take that. And then our first crop hay, all but one farm, was good enough to carry our cows through the winter with just the mineral supplementation that we give them. Although we may supplement them with a little bit of protein if we want to, or throw a second cut and bale in every once in a while to match that. We'll see how that goes. But if you're watching my video and you aren't testing your hay, I think you're foolish. I have to force myself to do it every year, but I do it nonetheless. I'm a firm believer in, we put weight on these cows all summer, and I'm not afraid of taking it off in the winter. I don't want to take too much, but I'm not afraid to take a little bit off. It's a bank account for me, just like the soil. But I don't want to take too much off, and I don't particularly want them to lose weight, not much anyway. And if our hay quality is good enough to carry them through, that's fine. And there's a real difference between quality that will carry them through and quality that will make them gain weight. And our second crop would make them gain weight, but our first is good enough to carry them through with the condition they currently have. So that's what we're going to do. Oh, this darkness is terrible. It's pretty, it makes for pretty nights, but it makes for a lot of hurrying around. I just told Dad, he said, well, I'll go ahead and feed the hogs and you go move the cows. I said, well, the problem with that is if I let you do that for the next month, I don't get to see a pig, because I don't get to go through the barn in the daylight. Let's put it that way. I go in every night to heat check, but I don't get to see a pig in the daylight. So I went ahead and fed and run out here and do this until dark. Stand here and wait on the water, trough the fill, make sure it don't run over, and then go do all the rest of it in the dark. So with that, I'll say we'll see you next time.